This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Calm AF. I'm happy to be spending this time with you today. So, something that I do pretty regularly is I plan out my podcast episodes ahead of time, and then I scrap the plan. I scrap the plan because something else makes its way, a different message makes its way to the front of the line, and I need to be talked about today. And so the plans get scrapped. It's all good. I'm still going to go through with the plans starting next week. I have a series that I'm going to be sharing, kind of talking about the Calm AF scale, which is a tool that I teach in my programs and I teach to my clients. It's basically, all about what's your nervous system kind of patterns. Are you more on the hypervigilant side, hypo? The goal always being, how do we get back into that grounded, regulated Calm AF energy? So that's coming. But today, something else made its way to the front of the line, and I wanted to share it. So I'm going to read you. I wrote a love letter that I'm going to send out tomorrow to my Calm AF Life members. They get these every single morning, these little short, tiny little reminders. I drop them in their inbox every morning. And really, it's just a reminder of who you are becoming and how do you want to show up today. So every day, instead of only thinking about it when something goes wrong, every day they get this email reminder of to be intentional, right? Don't forget that you are worthy. Don't forget that you are worthy of love and kindness and respect. Don't forget that who you are, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. So those are the reminders that I send out. I write them new. I've been writing them for 10 years, these love letters. I started them way back in the day when I first started one of my other programs. It just kind of started happening, and then I just never stopped. And so I've got I took some time off, but I've got almost 10 years worth of these. But I wanted to read it to you and then just talk a little bit about it, because clearly this, like I said, this came to the front and was hey, you need to scrap your plans. You need to talk about this today. So let me just read you the love letter, and then I will kind of share with you why it feels so important. Here we go. I think you should prepare for the best. I think you should get carried away. I think you should count all of the chickens before they hatch. I think you should not put everyone else first. I think you should cry over spilled milk. I think you should put all of your eggs in one basket. I think you should leap before you look. I think you should play now and work later. I think you should ask yourself what could go right. I think you should expect it to be easy. I think you should take all the things you've been taught to think in an attempt to make yourself safe from disappointment or failure or judgment or sadness or anger or embarrassment and ignore it. I think you should do the opposite. So this just came pouring through me. This message, this love letter, all of it just came to the front of the line and was this is what we need to talk about today, because I just spend so much time helping people unlearn these stories, these rules that they've had for themselves that are meant to keep them safe, right? So, for example, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right? Why are we preparing for the worst? What is the point in that? Right? What is the point of preparing for the worst? I don't mean not preparing at all, but what is the overall point of that advice, right? It's don't do anything. Don't be unprepared, because then you're going to have to feel bad about yourself. Or don't get carried away. Don't get too excited. Like, why? What's wrong with getting carried away? Because if you get really excited about something and then it doesn't work, you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel like disappointed. Well, wouldn't you feel disappointed even if you didn't get carried away? What's the reason? Why do we think that's good advice? Or let me pull out another one. Let's see. I think you should cry over spilled milk, right? What is the point of saying like, don't cry over spilled milk? Well, don't be sad about silly things. Don't be sad about something as silly and as trivial as spilled milk. I just had a long conversation with someone today. It was our first session in a one-on-one 6-month package. And so I'm getting all of kind of the background info. And one of the things that she was saying was like, whenever I would have emotions, my mom would tell me like, no, you don't. Like, that's not something to be sad about. And so what do we learn, right? Like we learn that sadness is something that we shouldn't ever feel. Like we should just sweep it under the rug. We shouldn't experience it. Why do we teach our kids that? So they don't have to feel sad, right? Because I don't want my kid to feel sad. If my kid feels sad, then I feel sad. I don't want to feel sad, right? All of these little pieces of advice that we all just hear over and over and over and over. And we're like, oh yeah, that's really good. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Yeah. All that shit is doing is making us not safe from disappointment, safe from like living a big life or living a fulfilling life or going for things that excite us or going for our dreams, taking risks. All of this advice is like, get smaller, get dull your shine, right? Dull your sparkle. Don't be so excited, be dull. Don't get carried away. Be like calm and quiet, right? All of it is because someone's trying to keep us safe from something. Someone's trying to keep us safe from failure or disappointment or embarrassment. I think you should play now and work later, right? What's the advice, the actual advice that we have all heard that has been just brainwashed into our brains since we started school, if not before? Do the responsible thing first and then do the frivolous thing. We just talked about the fun bucket last week. If you have not talked about the fun bucket, or if you don't know about it, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, definitely go listen to that episode. Okay? This is backwards. We should be prioritizing play and fun and rest. It should be just as important, if not more, in my opinion, more important than the to-do list, the laundry, right? We have just been taught, do this thing first, and then. I'm not saying we shouldn't work at all. Let's only play. I'm saying if you play first, you're probably going to have more energy. You're probably going to be thinking clearer. You're probably not going to feel like pissed off and exhausted and resentful if you've played or if you've rested first, right? Doesn't that just make more sense? All of this advice, this like just commonly accepted advice, is all an attempt to keep us safe from negative, I'm using air quotes because I don't believe any feelings are negative, but negative emotions that are uncomfortable for other people, uncomfortable for our parents and our teachers and the people around us, right? I don't want you to feel let down or disappointed, so don't get your hopes up, because then you're going to be disappointed, then I'm going to be disappointed. I don't want to be disappointed. So you don't get your hopes up, and then I won't have to be disappointed, right? We're always just trying to control other people's emotions. Like, make sure you've thought of all the things that could go wrong. Why? Why should I think of all the things that could go wrong? What if instead I sit down and I make a list of all the things that could go right? What's the harm in that? Do I think that looking for what could go right will just like completely blind me from things that could go wrong? No. You're just trying to prevent someone from feeling bummed out or upset if something goes wrong and you weren't prepared for it. Like all of this advice, I want you to think about I know everybody has something that their parents said to them over and over and over, right? Look before you leap. Look before you leap. No, leap, right? What's going to happen if you don't look before you leap, if you just take the risk, if you just do the scary thing? Well, you could fail. It could go wrong. You could mess up. You could embarrass yourself. And if that happens, then you're going to have to feel those feelings. And what do we need to do with feelings? We need to shove that shit away. Because we have this idea that our feelings are either in a category of good or bad, positive or negative. And anything that is negative, anything that is uncomfortable, anything that doesn't feel, I call them preferred and non-preferred. So any of those non-preferred feelings, we're like, whatever I do, I just need to not feel that. Oh, just feel the non-preferred feeling. Do the thing, take the risk, fail, and get up and do it again. Instead of, let me just prepare for everything that could go wrong, just in case it goes wrong, so that I'm not unprepared for the non-preferred feeling. Like you're not keeping yourself safe from non-preferred feelings in life. Preparing for the worst isn't preventing you from feeling bad later. It's making you feel bad right now while you're preparing for the worst. You're not doing what you think you're doing. You can handle your feelings. You can handle them. You don't need to spend your life constantly trying to keep yourself safe from non-preferred feelings. They are going to be there no matter how much you prepare. So, wouldn't it make more sense to prepare for the best? And if something doesn't go the way you want it to, then the consequence is a non-preferred feeling. That's it. That's it. You do the scary thing, it doesn't work, and you feel disappointed. Instead of, I'm going to feel disappointed the whole way preparing for that worst thing. I'm going to prepare for the worst thing. I'm going to feel disappointed. And then, if it happens to go well, then I'll be happy. But if it doesn't go well, at least I was prepared by feeling disappointed the whole way. Ugh. Can we stop? Can we not? Can we take all of these well-intended sayings and flip them upside down? Call them what they are, bullshit, right? All we need to do, none of these things would even be necessary if we would just learn how to feel our feelings. That's it. I can feel disappointment without it spiraling me down into a pit of despair, right? I just learn how to feel all of my feelings, and then they're not so scary. And if I take a risk and I fail, okay, guess I'm just going to have a non-preferred feeling. I can do that. I've done it a million times. I can do it again. All right. I'm just going to leave it there because I feel a little ranty. I don't need to be ranty. I'm just going to leave it right there. I want you to think about for you, what are the things? What are the sayings that you have been taught, that you have been living by? And when you think about them, like they're there, it seems like it's there to keep you safe from being hurt. But really what it's keeping you safe from is living a full and exciting and happy and memorable life. Right? You can't be safe from the disappointment if you're also not safe from the joy. Like it's all of it. We get all of the emotions. So if you are terrified of failure or not prepared, not being prepared, hypervigilantly prepared for what could go wrong, you need to back it up. You just need to learn the skill of feeling your feelings. This is a skill that is not taught. If you need someone to teach you, you need to be in Calm AF Life. This is what we're doing in there. This is what we are learning. And it's amazing what happens when people are like, I mean, I don't love to feel disappointed. I don't love to fail, but it's just feeling. It just lasts a few minutes because I know how to feel it on purpose. I know how to feel it intentionally. I don't have to drown in it. So if this is a skill that you still don't know, which no judgment, most people aren't, Most people do not have a skill set of knowing how to feel their feelings. Like, come on and join Calm AF Life. I'm going to put the links in the show notes. But for the meantime, I want you to think about this. What is this? What is the feeling that all of the saying that I've been like so stuck on my whole life, that I've been following like it's law, right? What is it actually keeping me safe from? All right. All right. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Love you. See you next time. Thanks for listening. And before you go, one more thing. So as you know, I am slightly obsessed with helping as many humans tap into their calm AFness as possible. So if this podcast has helped you, would you please leave a review, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you head on over to KristenFinch.com to see how you can work with me. You can sign up for my emails and get any other goodies I have available. Until next week, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you're here. I'll see you next time.